This is Shaun Pauwels with another video for round ones. I'll be playing some Zoom. I never planned on actually doing a lot of let's play and explain videos, but since people have been asking, I will jump into it. I'm probably gonna play like one or two videos of these. So under the gun opens, guy's a weaker player. We have ace king suited, so we're definitely three betting. Question is sizing. Given that this is a weaker player, they generally overcall anyway, so it doesn't mind that we size up here. So I'm going to go to 13. Generally, they overcall, so that's fine. King high board, we can definitely continue c betting. Definitely a really good flop for a specific hand, but I mean, king high boards, three bet pots, even out of position, we can do this. On an ace, we are definitely going to be barreling quite often. It's a really good card for us. And the question is sizing, of course. If we go 26, we have probably a bit too much. So I'm going to size a bit down to go a bit nicer size. If you had like gut shots there, we would still barrel on the ace. Like queen jack, for example. Although I probably don't have those hands, given that these weaker players, given that they overcall, I'm not going to be bluffing as much or three betting as much or as light. Sure, this guy can have it. So you don't see my HUD, but it's like really cluttered. So be happy that you don't actually see it. And I will comment on some stats if I do see them. So the color code, purple is basically a guy I've seen make mistakes or a guy I know has short stack. The blue is a guy I have a decent amount of hands on and who seems decent. There's also light blue, so this guy is actually have 205,000 hands on him, so he should be labeled. He has an okay three betting stat, I think. Bit of position three bet is 5.7, so we can call or three bet this. His fault to four bet is 50%, so I think I will go with a call instead of a three bet. Pretty good flop for us. I think if he bets, we can check raise, or we can just check call. If he checks to us, I'm definitely just betting. If he had tens, I assume he would bet anyway, and I don't want him to give him a free card on the river. So I think against weaker players, I might just check raise all the time because they are just c-betting too often and they're going to have a large amount of folds. But given this guy might be better. So this is also regular. His three bet in position is 20%, so I'm definitely peeling with fives. Queen 7-7, not the worst flop to be honest. We can definitely peel a card off here. I hate that I don't have big size though. I hate that I don't have the club here, like maybe with a club I would call. Pocket eights I would call like fives. If queen peels off, I'm kind of screwed, right? Three bet 20% in position is kind of high though. Let's say he has 20% of hands, and then he bets here, so he's could be out of line quite often. This is definitely like an overbet spot for him, I think. Although I should have more 7x than he does, but yeah, if he bets here, sure. Could also go for a 4-bet pre, but I think 5 is maybe a bit too adventurous. 20% 3-bet big blinds. So this guy is short stacked, right? Ace 10 off, easy open. So this is a 100 NL for those unaware. So this guy is also short stacked. This guy is also short stacked. So you can see there's 100 NL element, let's say, with 4 short stackers, right? This guy 15k hands on, but is like losing 7.5 big blinds per 100. I have seen him short stack before in the notes I have him as they short stacks at a date. So 3-bet here, it's on a smaller size. Normally I would fold it, but given the odds I'm given, I'm gonna call. Just to set mine. He could give me a free card, I don't know. It depends on if I would have stats on him and know he would see bet very often, I might raise this. Half pot is kind of like meh, but given that they generally don't 3-bet often anyway, like their range is too strong to just randomly start attacking. Queen jack suited, definitely an open. It's a fold against a 3-bet, especially early position. If you get 3-bet with a hand like this, it just gets dominated so often, right? When you get 3-bet, I think weaker suited connectors are just better. Against a fish, I know betting here in general isn't great, but against a weaker player, I generally just c-bet these type of things because it doesn't really matter because they're just generally weak. They do this weird shit, right? And we can just play really aggressive against them. So he cold calls. He actually cold calls 34% of the time. So I'm really curious what he's planning on doing here. Yep. I mean, his range is just super wide. He might just have a random line that he's doing that with. It's a bit too aggressive. I think it's just against weaker players. Normally, I would check my entire range on that board. Like it really misses my range, right? But he's a weaker player. He shouldn't really. He probably doesn't realize it. First of all, they do some weird stuff from time to time. We can just punish it. Our hand was fine to punish that. In general, just check it out. Just check raise or check call on that board. Like your range is so weak compared to his. Like I made my initial video was all about checking out a position, right? So yeah, that was definitely a check out of position on that board. Ace 4 off, not defending this, and we're going to open. So limping guy again, or at least another limper. And then we have an isolation. I think I can go bigger here. We are a bit deeper. His isolation is bigger. Let's actually add something on top. He can jam, and then I'm just going to call. I have ace king suited. What does he want me to do? And I have a 3-bet cold call. Okay. Really curious what this is going to be. The problem is he now 4-bets. What am I supposed to do? I'm probably flipping against this guy, but that's not an issue. But he could definitely have a strong hand as well. Although I do think I'm just going to 5-bet jam. Again, king high board, really good for us. We're just going to c-bet and then set up some stuff on the turn. His cold calling range could definitely be ace king as well. Apparently not. It's probably some kind of pocket. Like these type of hands that cold call are like ace queen, ace six suited, pocket pairs. Basically hands that they don't consider good enough to 4-bet or cold 4-bet. People in general don't 4-bet enough anyway. So a really good flop for us again. Top pair, top kicker. I think on this board we can actually go a bit bigger. Ranges are still wide, and we don't mind applying pressure. So we do have a bunch of overcards, backdoor flush draws. He has a large folding range. Yeah, maybe small size is better there because he has such a large folding range. Like he's gonna open small blind a lot. He's gonna defend small blind a lot, and then that board misses so much that if it goes small and he has to call all these overcards and backdoor flush draws and so on, that he's just not going to reach it when I bet small. So maybe a bigger size is a mistake on my end. Definitely something you could look into, like bet size for that reason. Jack 10 suited, definitely opening. If this guy opened, I would fold. Like I'm not prone on 3-betting these positions that much. So this guy has been 3-betting 11%. He does underfold against 3-bets. But like 11% 3-bet, his cutoff is 8.6. So it's still on the lower end. Jack 10 suited is probably a call in theory. He doesn't see bet that often, so I can definitely peel and maybe see a free card. And yeah, it's not just a counter. Jack 8, I'm not opening those hands. Like unless I see like some specific weakness, I'm just not interested all the time in opening those hands. Ace 10 suited will fold against 3-bet. So we face a cold call again. So now we'll play normal strategy, which is just check. I should probably bet again. It's a bigger player. So when he checks back, he actually has a bunch of ace x as well. So while the ace does seem interesting for me because I do have stronger aces, he should have a tighter range, and his check back range is going to contain a lot of ace x. So it actually does make more sense for me to be checking on an ace and then calling. So the second ace is just gonna probably bet or just check down like a pocket or something. I wonder if it does bet. Like I'm definitely not folding, but can I have a raise here? He can definitely show down ace jack, right? But he can also show down like ace 7. Let's see what he has. Actually, he has split pot. Ace 10 should not be in his range. But that's what I'm saying, right? His check back range actually contains a lot of these ace x. Like normally ace x suited, obviously. But he could definitely have those. And then yeah, it's um it's not that great for me to. Sure, I check my entire range, right? So I check my entire range, and then I have ace king as one, but I also have all these suited broadways and all offsuit broadways, a bunch of them. Um, and then when he has has the option to check back, he's gonna bet a lot of his pocket pairs, right? And a lot of his non-ace high hands because he wants me to fold the ace high hands, like he's bluffing with those. And then when an ace comes, his range is already more condensed than mine to that ace x. So I don't actually get to delay c bet on an ace, right? Because he just has more ace x percentage wise in his range compared to mine. Despite that I have the stronger ones, he still has more of them. Um, so I think checking is just better in general and allowing him to bet. Like it's a great bluff card for him as well, just because he has this amount of ace x. And then my strong ace x just profit from check raising or check calling and then check raising river. Right? And on that river, for example, if you have ace king, you just check raise. Or ace queen, even like ace queen is basically gonna be split at best for him. King 10, I was thinking about it, but this guy has such a low VP. So this type of boards in position, I basically never want to bet big because it's just really good for him. An ace, I would probably have checked it back, but I think I can overbet just because he didn't check raise and now there's two to a flush. So like he should never have aces. Sets he should have raised. Streets he should have raised. There's a lot of draws out there. Now I make full house, so I'm pretty sure I can just jam here, right? But I think that's maybe a bit too ambitious, but I still think overbet is fine. Problem is I might price myself in by doing that. So let's actually go for a bit smaller size. Like I'm basically saying I have pocket aces here. It's gonna be very, very hard for him to. Like he doesn't have a lot of check raising, right? Let's actually check what he has. You can see, but he had ace jack off. So yeah, he called me with an ace. I wonder if I actually overbet that he was. So here I can call, but just given that this guy doesn't three bet a lot, I'm just gonna overfold. It's something I said in my basic strategies as well. Just overfold, like it doesn't really matter. You're making money in other spots. The fact that this guy is three bet so little, it's just fold.